Thank you for tuning in to the Black Money Tree Podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist Jerome D. Love. We are committed to teaching you how to build wealth so that you can build your community. At the Black Money Tree, our goal is to empower wealth creation and create economic self-sufficiency in order to empower generations to come. Society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never enjoy. Powered by Wells Fargo Bank. Welcome to the Black Money Tree Podcast.
Welcome to the Black Money Tree Podcast, Season 2. I'm your host, Mr. Jerome D. Love, and I'm so excited about the Black Money Tree movement. We believe that economic prosperity creates awesome communities. In order to create that awesome community, you have to have resources. And one of the best ways that I found to build wealth, and personally, most of my net worth is in real estate. So we're going to have a candid discussion today on real estate. But before we get to that, I'm going to take a small commercial break. As you know, Texas Black Expo has celebrated and been working on the forefront of economic equality for the state of Texas for the past 20 years. And this year, we're celebrating in a major way. May 18th through the 21st here in Houston, Texas at the George R. Brown Convention Center. We're going to have our corporate awards luncheon with Magic Johnson. We're going to have our trade show. If you've never been to the Texas Black Expo, you need to schedule it. We're going to have all kinds of social events, educational workshops and seminars on investing in real estate. And it's just going to be a great time to celebrate the culture. So I want to invite you guys out. And of course, if you have a business, man, you could, for less than $1,000, you can promote your business to thousands of people, one place, one weekend. So make sure you get your vendor booth. And if you're not familiar with trade show marketing, we actually have a free course that we offer called Winning with Vending. They're going to put the link on the screen. It's book.texasblackexpo.com/I want it. So you can get our free course on Winning with Vending that's going to teach you all about trade show marketing. But with that said, I'm excited about today's guest. He's a good friend, one of my first mentees, if you will, in the real estate game. And now he's exceeded me and he's teaching me. And that's none other than Mr. Onaje Barnes with Barnes Investments, Barnes Marketing, New Day Lending, The Escape. I'm sure I missed a few
things.
Yeah. So welcome back to the Black Money Tree Podcast.
I appreciate the invite again. I appreciate it again.
Well, awesome. So, you know, we talk all the time. So, you know, this is just a conversation. This ain't really scripted. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about, though, on today is when I kind of trained you a little bit, we started out with single family.
That's right.
All right. And you have now went past single family. I don't think you're totally opposed to it, but I think
I won't be buying any more single families
really?
From an investment property perspective. Maybe personally, but no.
Really? So explain that. Why not?
I hate this. It sounds a little weird, but it's kind of not really worth my time anymore. I've never been in a fix and flip game, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a buy and hold guy, right? I'm a landlord, right? So that kind of limits the price points, right? Like there's a lot of money to be made in high end flips. I'm never really gonna do that because I'd rather get doors, right? So I can go get apartment complex for I know how to go find apartment complex for $600,000-$700,000 and turn that and flip that and double that up, right? So, you know, at this point where I've learned with multifamily on how to, so multifamily has a lot of benefits, right? That I'm getting older, right? I can't be doing 10, 20 deals a year. So if I'm only going to do 2 or 3 deals, let them be big deals, right? That can yield big returns. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
So let's talk about, you just said something that was very intriguing to me. You know how to find apartment complexes for $600,000-$700,000. Explain, where are you finding these apartment complexes?
You're trying to get a little sauce. I mean, look, it's the same way you find in single family.
Yeah.
The same concepts in single family exist in multifamily. The math is a little different, right? The multiplication is different, right? A lot of benefits to multifamily, but the same off-market strategies that we probably talk about, you teach probably how to get properties off off market. You do the same thing in multifamily. It's just the conversation's probably different. You're not talking to someone who might be a novice in real estate, like, the tired landlord that only got 2 or 3 properties. You're talking to somebody who's probably more advanced, but they're still motivated just the same way, right? They probably late on their taxes, probably a tired landlord, probably got tenants and toilets that they tired of, right? All the same things is still there. It's just the level of sophistication is probably a little bit more advanced.
Yeah. So let me say this. When I started in real estate, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they always have opinions, and they always want to tell me why they're not going to get into it, and they start telling me all the problems. And all the problems that they tell me, I always say, well, they don't exist for me. I created a model. Like, for instance, someone told me once, they were like, well, I don't want to have to be going to the house every day fixing stuff. And I say, well,
are you building systems?
Yeah. Well, but here's what I said. But the same concept and principle. I say, well, with my business model, I buy them totally destroyed so I can get them cheap. So I can completely rebuild it. New plumbing, new electrical, new framing, new flooring, new everything. And then I give it to the tenant so I don't get calls. And then I also have my lease structure where there's a repair deductible. So if they call me, they're going to pay me 1% of their rent. So if their rent's $1,500, they're going to pay me $150 when I show up, because I know if it's anything that's broke, you broke it, and therefore you have a certain responsibility for it. So my point in sharing that is where I'm at right now, and I know where a lot of people are at with multifamily, they have all of these scenarios in their head.
The multiplication of the problems. That's why they don't want to get into it, right?
Yeah.
So multifamily, you multiply revenue, but then people naturally assume you multiply problems, which can be true, right? But what I've really focused on the last 2 years is really building systems, right? Systems for automation, right? So for me, I used to do all the work myself. I used to swing a hammer. I used to do all this stuff, show up for every repair. Now, I think I just got a text for a repair right before we sat down.
Yeah.
And I was in another meeting yesterday and I had 3 repairs, whatever. But now I got systems built in. All of our repair requests are done through our online portal. So don't be calling my cell phone no more.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to call them. And I've officially blocked all my tenants out, so they can't call me. Right. And it's not to say that I'm not responding, but our customer service is actually way higher now.
Yeah.
Right. So we got an online portal. I've got virtual assistants that manned all of that. They've got systems built into place to where they can respond to maintenance requests without me. They kind of know my limits of okay, this is something that Onaje needs to show up or at least be involved in. But now most of our basic maintenance requests can happen without me, which is a really, really good place that I never thought I would get to. So that's the dope part about when you start to really multiply. You can multiply your revenue. Yeah, your expenses are definitely going to go up. But if you're thoughtful and being a forever learner and forever growing your systems, then that's something that you can start to kind of, get out of as well. Use the revenue, not just to pocket it, but to use the revenue to build better systems.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, because ultimately what you're saying is build a business, don't create a job.
Yes,
because most of the times we go into stuff thinking we saving money by doing it ourselves.
Right. I used to think that.
Yeah.
And now I'm valuing my time a lot more.
Yeah.
In my now I'm coming on the if I'm honest, I'm coming on the backside of my career, right?
Yeah.
If we're honest.
Yeah.
But now it's really about building systems. Things like I don't take cash anymore. Don't call me about your payments anymore. For me, most of my tenants know if I'm actually calling you, you have a major problem. Meaning you have a major problem, not me.
Yeah.
I don't have a major problem. You have a major problem if it gets to me, right? And we still have to do the calls and all that kind of stuff where you're in and all that kind of mess. But it's more. There's a couple layers between me now and some of that, which is really good.
Yeah. Well, I kind of did the same thing when I started growing and scaling. I met with a lady here who had about 110 properties, and she was the one who told me about the repair deductibles. And I was like, really? You can do a repair? She said, yes, you can do a repair deductible. So
it's interesting you said, because I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
So
now to explain, talk about that.
So I'm not a fan because some people
deferred maintenance.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of it because ultimately I don't want to incentivize my tenants to not take care of my property.
Yeah.
Right. So potentially all they might see is another cost that they can't afford, right, on that repair deductible. So short term, okay, I might get less costs. Long term, I might end up with a property that's in more disarray than what I initially wanted to be. So for me, I'm very big on maintenance and responding, even when I know it's on them, right? Like even when I know it's on them, I still don't want it to get linger because ultimately the property, like the value is in the equity, right? Like, and I don't want to lose any equity over time. Like even when they move out and we still got to put in a rehab or redo something or whatever, I want all of that to be less cost on the back end.
Well, the reason I'm a proponent of it is, and I'm sure you've seen this, some tenants don't really realize what they're paying for.
Absolutely.
They're paying for a place to stay. In their mind, they feel like if I don't see you out here 2-3 times a month fixing stuff, then I'm not getting my money's worth.
I got to.
So, this is what I tell all of my tenants. I say, listen, if let's just say their rent's $1,500 and the repair deductible 1%, $150. I say your repair deductible is $150. Now that means if you call me for any repair, whether it's your fault or not, you're gonna pay me $150. My goal is not to take your money. What that means is if there's a major plumbing issue, water coming through the ceiling, it's $8,000 cost, all you pay is $150. But it also means that if your toilet's running and I come out to jiggle the handle, then I'm going to come out and jiggle the handle, but you're going to pay me $150. They always laugh, and then it clicks. Oh, okay, take care of this little stuff and don't call you for every little thing. But I will say most of them forget that when the lease starts. So then they call me, and then when I say, where's the repair deductible? They say, well, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. Yeah. And then at that point, I make the decision of...
What if they stop calling and you got a water leak, and we know how bad water is, right? You cause all kinds of
water is really the only main concern. But let me just say, in my 7-8 years since I've implemented this, I really haven't had that issue.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be about the rapport that you have with that tenant and what they are. For me, like I said, it's I know I can save money doing that way. I know that it'll be less headache. But like I said, for me, part of it is, one, vacancy, longevity of the property, 2, protecting the property and the asset itself, right? And just making sure that we can get whatever profit margins that we out of it. But, ultimately though, for us, we're also building a brand based on customer service, because again, that angle to it leads to lower vacancy rates, which we actually lose a lot of money with vacancy and turnover on a property, right? Like if a tenant move out and trash it out, I mean, we both experience some really hardships on getting some properties back, and it's like, really, I gotta do this again. So that's kind of my deal there. But ultimately, for me, that's semantics. Like ultimately, my big deal is, how do I build systems? Because we still self-manage. Yeah. So I don't have a property manager, but I can still brag about, Najee doesn't have to do all of these things because we built our own property management system that's affordable within the levels of productivity and quality that we wanted, that we didn't think we could get from an outside property management company.
So let's talk about financing, because at the end of the day, that's at least from what you've shared and what you've taught me, the biggest advantage of multifamily is financing. If you understand the formulas, the ratios, you can get financing and you could scale quicker. Would you say that's one of the biggest benefits of multifamily? If not, explain what it is.
Yeah, I would say financing, because again, commercial can go up and down. Like right now, valuations are really sensitive to interest rates right now. So I would say the biggest benefit to multifamily is it's just this idea that you got one location. How many good deals of 10 single families could you really find in 1 year? Like you've been around the block, right?
Yeah.
The good deals, right? It's hard to find 10 in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
You could go buy 10 properties. They ain't all be good deals, right? But with multifamily, that's just one deal.
Yeah.
Right? So if you spend all your efforts to say, hey, I'm going to find a 10-plex, I'm going to go get that 10-plex, and I get it. So that's one deal. And now you got 10 doors. So a lot of times you could have the money to get 10 doors, but can't find the 10 doors. Right? But so in this case, number one, you can find it all in one location. Number two, it's the idea that you got one roof, versus 10.
Yeah.
So when you fix that one roof, it's fixed. Versus probably in our case, fix that roof, right? One plumbing system, right? One electrical system, right? Now it's more complicated, that plumbing system, more complicated, that electrical system. But one time, one thing to learn, how many in your brain, right? You know where every shutoff valve is for all these doors you got.
Yeah.
And that's 10, 15 different properties. You know where the electrical box here, over here, and this over here, and whatever. Like learning one system, one sphere of influence, one drive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times, back in the day, I'm sure you used to drive all your babies once a month, twice a month, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, I only got to make one drive now. I ain't got to drive all over the city.
Yeah.
So, my single families are all over the city, right? So I only got one location to go to mentally. Again, I like to think I got more wisdom, but I also know my brain is just not what it, it is my 25-year-old brain, right?
Yeah.
So, just having one place to think about, one system, one process, one strategy, that right there is probably the number one benefit, right? Now, there's some benefits to single family over multifamily. I had these conversations a lot because people always ask me, like, which is better? I tell people, whatever you can execute is what's better. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to say multifamily is better. It's just where I'm at now. If I'm trying to acquire more doors, this is an easier way for me to acquire through one closing. I mean, a closing is a closing is a closing, right?
Yeah.
It's all a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not going to change because you closed on 100. And that's something that a lot of people taught me was that, you closing on 2 single families. I mean, that's the same as closing on a 50-unit complex. And I'm like, no, it ain't.
Yeah. Same thing, just a higher dollar amounts. Typically.
Okay, you got a bigger check to write.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my big deal with multifamily, and that's been beneficial, right? Where I can have a lot of revenue and mentally. So we have 3 apartments now, complexes now, and that makes up 41 of our 50 doors. Okay.
Yeah.
Beforehand, it was 9 single families, and I'm thinking like 9 situations. Well, where's this? And the grading on this one is bad. This one's here. This one's that. Like all these little details, right? Now I'm just really thinking about 3 properties.
Well, see, I think
it's a different mentality.
I get what you're saying, but you've been to most of my properties, and first off, I'm not driving all around town.
Yeah,
they're one street, the next street, the next street. They're all in one zip code.
Right.
In addition, my model too. I buy them raggedy beat up. So when I like a lot of this stuff you're saying,
multifamily.
But what I'm saying is, I don't really have the maintenance requests and issues and concerns that you have. I get what you're saying. For me, the biggest benefit that I see in multifamily is scaling quicker, access to capital, and for lack of a better way of putting it, this is probably the wrong way of saying the ease in which you can manipulate the numbers. Figure out the way you can get your income up, get your valuation higher, and then cash that bad boy out.
That's a big benefit. I would rank that second. I would say the ease of capital. I actually would argue single family has a lot more ease of capital because, again, if I got a 20-unit complex and I'm just trying to get $50,000 or $100,000 out in a cash out refi or something like that, and I don't need 500, it's harder to do the work to get to that bigger play. And like we said with closings, you're not trying to do a closing all at one time. So like with a single family, you might only just need to get 50,000. Well, that you could just sell one property off, right?
Yeah.
And separate it. With multifamily, no, this is
all or nothing. Yeah, I got you.
It's all or nothing. So that right there is a little bit more of a situation, but ultimately, what I like about it is just the idea that, I can play with bigger numbers, right? In situations where I can think of, like, these are all bigger numbers, like a plumbing situation is big. Everything is bigger, right?
Yeah.
Everything costs more, but one strategy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because neighborhoods change. The streets change.
Yeah.
Like all your stuff is right by streets, but every one of them streets ain't the same.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
But with this one, this is the property. We can put a brand behind it, right? We can put a situation behind it. We can create different highest and best case use cases behind it, right? A lot of times a single family stuck in a neighborhood is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And, for me, one of our properties, we were able to completely change the use case of that property. And that has yielded us tremendous results.
Yeah. Me, where I'm at right now, my next play, I did do my cash out as you had suggested.
Yeah.
As you say, I had the funds but couldn't find the property. So
Yeah.
I did buy another single family. I also bought a lot, and what I found, I'm ready to build a duplex. So I got a couple lots, and when I look at the numbers, $150,000 cash to build it, one lot, cost $50,000, $200,000, divide that by 2, that's $100,000
for a brand new construction.
Brand new construction, $1,500 a piece. So you do the math. I look at it as $100,000 that's going to yield me $18,000 a year. Back out to taxes and insurance, that's 12 to 13% return. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. Takes a little bit longer, but now I'm doing 2 at a time. Now, once again, that's not my overall strategy. It's just happened. I found a deal.
You get what you get.
Yeah, I went to the tax auction, found a good deal, bought it. Then when I started working the numbers, I said, well, let's roll with it. So now let's talk about, I know you want to talk about the escape. And this is the other thing that you've been talking to me about that you haven't quite convinced me, these long-term rentals. Now, you bought an actual apartment complex that you converted the whole thing into kind of a extended stay Airbnb.
Correct.
Talk about that.
So officially, when I tell people my bio, I say, I'm on Najee Barnes. I buy, I own single family and multifamily, and we operate short-term, midterm, and long-term rentals.
Okay.
So this is a new thing, right? Like this is my official where I'm at now. So obviously, what long-term rentals is, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm in this short-term and this new thing called midterm rentals, which is more like the extended stay model, right? So short-term rental, you think Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Or something to Verbo or whatever, right? Midterm rentals, you're thinking extended stay, but for me, it's traveling professionals.
Okay.
So here's an example. Houston is having, frankly, tens of thousands of people come every year, right?
Yeah.
Right? These people need a place to stay before they can figure out this is a big old city. Where they gonna move to? They don't know. They don't know nobody, right? They just getting down here trying to find their way, right? And so a lot of people, a lot of professionals might need a help with transitioning into this city. They might need a place to stay for a month to month. Who offers a month to month? Do you offer month to month lease?
No, I don't.
No, you do not, right? I most certainly do not. That's a huge liability, right? But there's a demand for a month to month rental that's not a hotel and that's not an extended stay. Because, we kind of know what the extended stay kind of model is, right? But if you somebody that's making $200,000 a year, you don't mind paying a premium if you're living in something much bigger than a hotel, but have all the amenities of a hotel. So we have every amenity that you can imagine from a hotel. We provide coffee and Keurig microwaves and toothbrushes, feminine pads. We provide everything. Like all you need is your backpack or your bag, your travel bag, and we got you covered. But now I'm able to charge a premium for this. So for example, at the Escape, we bought that under a long-term rental underwriting strategy, basically meaning like the rents at the time was $600 a month, right? For a 1-bedroom, which kind of like in the hood, you kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But we also bought in an area that was in the path of gentrification, right? So we can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And we're able to upgrade it, went high end. I'm normally kind of like that C class, B minus, right? But we went like more B plus, A minus type of grade on that. And then basically offered it as a short-term rental. And so now previous ownership was getting $575, $600. We're averaging somewhere between $2,100 and $2,400 a month.
Wow.
On a 1-bedroom that's 650 square feet.
Man, that's amazing. Now, you can't give them all the game
I
here.
can't give them all the
So
game.
let me just say this. This is a good transition. You're going to be at Texas Black Expo's 20-year celebration.
I'm extremely excited about coming for this.
And you have a whole, I don't know if I want to call it a masterclass series session. Talk a little bit about what they're going to get at Black Expo.
So at Black Expo this year, and again, guys, this is the 20-year anniversary, so shout out to Jerome for sticking with black business in Texas, right, to just promoting. Somebody's got to be an advocate, so shout out to you for being an advocate for all these years. I remember working the door back in the day for free. I didn't get paid for that.
You was a volunteer.
I was a volunteer. But I'm excited to be back, and what we're trying to do is give people an introduction to wealth building. That's what we're really trying to do. A lot of people, I think, particularly black and African American people, we've made tremendous strides in education and actually income. A lot of people making some money.
Yeah, we just don't know what to do
We
with
don't know
it.
what to do with it. Right? We
yeah.
don't know what to do with it, right? And if we're honest, the 401k ain't the only way, and I think most people feel that, right? Most people in America kind of feel like this ain't necessarily going to work out for me long term, even though I'm making all this money. So how can you deploy capital into cash flowing assets, which we know about? So we want to give people some good, strong, basic knowledge on how to get into real estate as a regular person, right? Like, look, I got 50 doors. I'm not going to come here to teach you how to. Now, if you want to come learn how to get 50 doors, I can teach you that, right? But I definitely want that person that got one rental property, how can they get the 5, right? Or the person that just got one single family that they live in, how do they get their first rental? That's what we really want to be able to teach people, that basic knowledge. So we'll, I'll be there to help out. We'll have a panel. One of my favorite lenders, she knows everything there is to know about lending, from an FHA loan to a bridge finance to a debt service coverage ratio loan. She can explain all this way better than me, to where we eliminate the idea of financing, right? So we want to eliminate all the reasons and excuses that all of our friends tell us, oh, the maintenance, oh, the rent collection, oh, the loan, or whatever. We're going to eliminate all those excuses, right? And come up with simple strategies that I've employed, strategies that you've employed. I know a lot of people in the game. So we'll put all of this together.
All your people in one place.
It'll
so you
concise.
Basically giving them your whole system.
Hey, I got this event called Game Day, and we're bringing Game Day to the
Texas Black Expo.
And Game Day is basically free game, y'all.
Yeah,
That's what free game.
While you was talking, I was thinking about business, just like real estate. Most of us think when we got to start business, we got to start out the trunk. But you can buy businesses too.
Absolutely.
And on the Friday, we're going to have a master class we call Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition. We have one of the guys that was on our podcast. His name is Sean Taylor. He was a former owner of the Astros. He also owned 38, 33 Taco Bells. And he's going to do a master class on franchising, teaching people how to value businesses, how to acquire businesses. So it's going to be an awesome Texas Black Expo. We talk all
the time, but we always end up very, very thinking about very similar things. And I love that, because that's something that I think, again, is a missing link within the African-American community. We're not buying, hear what I said, I didn't say real estate, cash flowing assets.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Cash flow, Wi-Fi money. We're not doing enough Wi-Fi money or make your money in your sleep money, right? Like that is what we have to get to, because that's where real wealth is built at. So I'm really excited. I'm sure I'll be there on Friday taking notes as well.
Well, it's all going to take place at the Texas Black Expo. Once again, go to our website at texasblackexpo.com. You can get all the information. If you have a business and you want to promote your business to thousands of people, one place, one weekend for less than $1,000, you need to get you a vendor booth too. If you'd like to schedule a call with me, you can go to book.texasblackexpo.com/callback. And if you want to get our free Winning with Vending course, go to book.texasblackexpo.com/I-want-it. So it's going to be an exciting event. If you want to meet Magic Johnson, come on out to our corporate luncheon. That's going to be on Friday, May 19th at the Marriott Marquis. And to close it out, anything else, social media, any of your other master classes?
Hit me up on najee10k.com. I'm always doing some master classes or some courses. I teach all kind of mess, whether it's Section 8 to buying multifamily to, property management, whatever. I teach all of that. Also follow us at The Escape. That's TH3 for Third Ward. Escape on IG. So follow us there. You can check out the property. If you want to come stay with us, you have a good time.
And one more plug I'm going to give. What was the course you sent me? It was awesome. It was about 3-4 hours where you talked about the debt service coverage ratio, all that stuff.
That was a multifamily underwriting class. I think I sent you, and that's a really good one. I go over 2 scenarios. So not only do I teach you all the lingo, teach you all the terminology that might be foreign to most investors. We also do a live underwriting, so you actually show you, okay, this is how you value multifamily property. And I do 2 of them. I do one on traditional underwriting, and then I actually underwrite how to basically create a boutique hotel. Yeah. So, which is kind of what we did.
What revolutionized or changed my life was DSCR, debt service coverage ratio.
Yes.
So now I know how to just put myself in a spreadsheet, and then I can calculate, they're going to say yes, they're going to say no, and now I know how to, once again, it's probably the wrong word, manipulate the numbers so that you can make it work, get where it needs to be.
And that's probably the biggest key, because the number one question I get asked, you probably get asked this all the time, what is a deal?
Yeah.
What is the deal? That's like the
Yeah.
well, I want to get in real estate, but what is the deal, right? This kind of helps you figure that out because essentially, for me, I keep it real simple. Look, if the bank ain't willing to finance this thing, it might not be a deal.
Yeah. That's a very good way of looking at it. Yeah.
So I like to underwrite the way the banks underwrite.
Yeah.
If I can underwrite like them, then I can go to a bank with confidence. And not a bank, multiple banks. So I'm gonna shop all my deals, right?
Yep.
And I can go to multiple banks and know that at worst I'm gonna get it financed. At worst I might get it financed at a rate that I don't like. At best I'm gonna get it financed. Either way I'm getting it financed because I underwrote it the proper way.
Yeah. Well, they giving me the signs. So that's it for today. Once again, our theme this year is boom, building our own marketplace. We are committed to helping you build wealth so that you can build your community. Until next time. Check us out at TexasBlackExpo.com. Make sure you go to theblackmoneytree.com, get our books, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Black Money Tree podcast. Don't forget to like and share this video. And if you want more content like this, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you next time.